welcome to The Jump. Happy Hump Day. Hope you're ready because we've got a massive show for you. We will unpack what just happened at Nissan Arena in just a moment with Derek Rucker set to join us. We'll talk about the Bullets, but the GOAT, Lauren Jackson herself, is set to join us on The Jump tonight. Do not go anywhere. We'll talk Josh Giddey, the Nets. It's all here. Andrew Gaze, Leonard Copeland and Kane Pittman are here. Welcome, gents.
Thank you very much. And, yeah, we need to fire things up because the Hoops fans out there, they would be very depressed after what we just had to sit through the last 2 hours. The Brisbane Bullets were a disgrace. And now we've all been there, and it's a very tough situation. I know that the team over there at NBL want to talk about the Sydney Kings, and yep, kudos to them. They're flying along. They're the #1 team. But there is no excuse for what the Brisbane Bullets dished up today. Defence was insipid, and the way in which that they show just with the body language, albeit a tough situation, but at certain times of seasons, you're faced with a character test. And right now, to me, judging by my eyes, they're failing the character test. And that's sad for elite athletes. You know, like I say, I've copped 60-point whacks. We've lost for 3 or 4 years. But I'm telling you, that looked terrible.
The positive thing is the fans are still coming, though, Joey. And that ought to make you feel bad.
It won't be for much longer.
No,
keep dishing up there.
That ought to make you feel bad if you're a player and you're not giving it your all. It looks like you're not giving it your all, and that's not good enough.
Well, it was the biggest loss by any team this NBL season, and Derek Rucker is a legend of Aussie basketball. He played for the Brisbane Bullets, won an MVP as well in the NBL. He's joining us now. Derek, what did you make of that Brisbane performance? We were pretty disappointed sitting here in the studio watching that.
Well, it's rough, you know, especially when there's so much enthusiasm and energy in the building and the fans are really hyped up. And they come full of expectations, but continuously they are being served the same type of performances. We saw a pretty insipid performance, to use Drew's word, last week against the Cairns Taipans. And then tonight, it looked like they were ready to really go on with the battle in the first quarter. But unfortunately, again, at a critical juncture in the second quarter, when Sydney cranked it up, Leonard, you saw what happened. They just did not have any answers. They don't have the depth talent-wise, and they just don't have that cohesion, that chemistry, that idea of what to do when things get really tough. What is their strategy? And obviously, with all the coaching changes this year, it makes it really tough on this playing group. Where do they go from here? I'd just be playing all the young guys and sitting the older guys down, not necessarily as a goodbye to them, but more as a welcome and as a testing time for the young guys.
Hey, Derek, you make very valid points, and absolutely, there's a lot of asterisks next to what and explanations for why they might be having these types of performances. But the bottom line is these are professional athletes. There's 2 of them that have been in the NBA and made over $50 million apiece. You've got an Olympians out there. You've got NBL veterans. There must be more to it, because even if they hadn't trained a day, even if they didn't have a coach, you're going to see better effort than what we saw here today. Is there an explanation of, is there bickering? Is there more to it?
Well, I think it's just been a accumulation of so many things that have happened over the course of the season. I talked to Greg Vanderjack prior to the game, and we talked about some of the offensive concepts of the game. And one of the things I said was, when I coach teams, and one time I had a team only score 57 points, and I reflected after the game, and I said, what was even the point of practicing? Well, that's kind of how the Bullets have been in the past couple of weeks. It's like, what are they working on? They'd be better off just going out there and just playing basketball and enjoying it, because obviously any strategy, any game planning they're doing is not being effective. Now, also, as a group, who is the leader? Who's the one that pulls everyone together to say, you know what, guys, I don't care who we're playing tonight. We could be playing the '86 Boston Celtics, the 2016 Golden State Warriors, the '96 Bulls. We are not losing this game tonight. We're not going to be embarrassed on our home court. Copes and Drewy, I saw you guys do it all the time when the odds were stacked against you. But who is that person? Who is that clique within the Bullets organization? Player, coaches, assistants, your staff. Who can do that and assemble this team to put better performances together for this crowd?
Derek, you live in Brisbane. Why are the fans still coming out? I mean, you're in the streets. You tell me what they're saying.
Well, thanks for mentioning that I'm in the streets, Coach, but I'm actually...
Can I say that?
I'm not sure. Well, look, it's the holiday period. It's really hot, and it's a nice venue. Like, this is a fantastic place to come and watch basketball. As I've said many times on here, the energy and the enthusiasm is fantastic. It feels like a party in here. Just imagine if this team was winning, what type of crowds they would be pulling in this place. However, people will only take so much, Leonard.
Yeah, that's right.
And at some point, that trend will reverse and people will stay away. The ownership group apparently was here, so I'm curious to see how that changes things over the coming weeks. Now look here, Drew, guess who they've got coming in here Saturday? Melbourne United, another team you do not want to see. They're desperate, they sniff a possible play-in position, and Dean is going to be coaching them hard and ready to wax Brisbane again.
Derek, you mentioned the ownership group, and we heard the CEO come out about a week or so ago now and basically try and pour cold water on some of the disruption talk and reporting from the outside. But if you're a free agent and you're a player looking at where you want to play, when you couple the disruption we've had from the organisation on top of performances like tonight, why would you sign there?
Well, I'm always going to take the call and take the meeting just to hear what they have to say. But if I'm a player, there are going to be some serious conditions in that contract or in a verbal agreement that we reach. I need to know who the coach is before we sign on. I need to know that there's a commitment to the ownership group. I want to see from the executive management positions, what's the direction of this club in terms of pulling sponsors? Where are we playing? You know, for example, this may be a petty thing, but they don't really have an office. You know, when you want to go and meet with people from the Bullets, it's always kind of a makeshift type ad hoc situation, you know? And I don't think that's really professional. They need a home. And I'm not talking about a playing home. They've got a fantastic playing home. They need a corporate headquarters where they can settle in and people can come and meet and they can engage the business community in this city.
Jeez.
Derek, one last question for you. There's one person in Brisbane that's probably sitting back laughing and having a good time right now, and that's the ex-head coach, JD. Have you had any work with him? Any word with him?
Yeah, I've spoken with JD. He's probably, it's never good to be fired, Copes. I know you and Drew have never experienced that in your lives, but your boy D-Ruck has, okay? It's never a good feeling. There is shame, there is embarrassment that comes with being released from your contract. And I'm sure James may be experiencing some of that, but I told him quite clearly when his time was winding down, you've been dealt a bad hand. All you can do is make the most of it, stay true to yourself, and try and walk out of here with some dignity intact. Now, we're also forgetting about Sam McKinnon, who I thought was neutered and basically right now has very little authority, even though he's walking around here as the head of basketball operations. So things are really interesting here, and I can't wait to see what transpires over the next few weeks, guys. This is certainly not the Boston Celtics.
It certainly isn't. Derek, thank you so much for joining us on The Jump, and a great call from you. Go and have a rest.
Thanks, guys.
Good job, Derek.
Derek Rucker there. We should talk about the Kings, though, because they are
Sam
in
McKinnon's got more problems than
I was hoping you would just let that slide. Let's just let that one slide, shall we? Let's talk about the Sydney Kings because they're on top of the standings at the moment. They're the best seed going around, defending champions. They look like they're going to go back-to-back, and right now it's a race in three when it comes to the top two, with New Zealand, I guess, falling out. But are they the team to beat right now, Copes?
I think they are. Look, they're solid. Every time they come out and play, they compete. Now, there's one team I think that can bother them, and that's the New Zealand Breakers. But if Sydney have home court advantage, I see them winning.
I think it's hard to tip against them. And here's the thing. We talk about Coach of the Year honours and what a coach can do. Chase Buford has got a different team to what he had last year.
Yes, he does.
Last year, he had 3 bona fide megastar imports, and everyone goes, well, hang on, he's got some decent tools. Now, he's got really, really, really good imports, but not at the same level. But he's still been able to play a style of play, and we talk about the pace of play, and we're going to talk about that a little later on, and the overall pace of play of the NBL. But the Sydney Kings are right up there. but they don't look helter-skelter when they do it. No. They look very methodical. They still have enough system to get the ball to the right people at the right time. So they are going to take some beating based on what we've seen over the last month or so.
So there are 4 rounds to go of the NBL season. We know when it comes to top 2, it's a race in 3, as we see there. But the big question still remains, who is going to make it to the playoffs? And we have a play-in tournament for the very first time ever this season. Kane, I want you to refresh our viewers' memories on how exactly this is going to work.
Let me try and get this out without making a mistake here. So we've got 2 one-off win and move on or win and go home games. So 5 will play 6 and 3 will play 4. The winner of the 3-4 game will go through to play the 2nd seed. The winner of the 5-6 playing game will play the loser of the 3-4 game.
Got it.
And then the winner of that
Yes.
3rd playing tournament game will go and play the number 1 seed. That's pretty tough to get out. I'm happy with that.
Tick for you in getting that out. But what we want to know is who is actually going to make it and who is going to miss out. Right now, it is the 2 Melbourne teams who are going to miss out. Gazy, we'll start with you. Who's getting in, who's not?
Well, there's a lot of basketball to be played, and it's so hard. I would have said after the game when we saw Melbourne United, and this is when they beat the Jack Jumpers, that they would be right in the mix because of the way they're playing. They're in some really good form. The problem they've got is Isaac Humphrey's got hurt, and I think he's still a pretty big piece. And certainly with Lee, they've got an adequate replacement, but the depth in that position. But I still think, even with that for some reason, I know I've been hanging on. Maybe it's your influence, Nat. I'm still hanging on that they'll be able to get there. And the other really curious one for me is the up and down what we've seen from the Adelaide 36ers. Yep. To me, the Adelaide 36ers, if they get there, like a lot of teams, they could actually go the whole way. But you just see certain parts of the game where their very best is really good, but then they taper. And there you see the table right there. The Perth Wildcats, they made a good claim with their home win and what they did. John really making adjustments to his team, his roster, and also to his coaching style seemed to be effective against a very good New Zealand Breakers team. And
they have a tough remaining schedule, though.
They do, but there's a chunk of home games, I think, in there as well. So who is going to miss out is more the question.
It's a hard one.
I think the Phoenix are the ones that
they could, because of their injury, they could miss out. And look, I got to say this. I put Melbourne United out a long time ago, but the way they've been playing basketball over the last 4 or 5 weeks, you got to give them a chance, man. They're rolling, even though they have some injuries. Marcus Lee's playing great. Goulding's shooting the ball a lot more. He's knocking down shots. And Shea Lee is getting the ball to the right people. So I like their chances, man. They continue to play the way they play.
Big test, though, tomorrow night. They face the Breakers. That's going to be a huge test, in particular with that Isaac Humphreys. Just talking about the Phoenix, though, Kane, Mitch Creek went to hospital in the last game after he injured his eye. I think he copped a bit of a poke there. Just what's the latest on him? Is he going to be available to play this weekend?
Yeah, well, we talk about the schedule, and sometimes you need a little bit of luck on the road to the postseason, and the Phoenix were lucky that they had over a week until their next game. So they don't play until Monday night. They'll play the Bullets. They'll be at the State Basketball Centre there. They think Mitch Creek is going to play. Now, he had a scratch on the easiest way I could put this, on the white part of the eye. So it was very close.
Is that the cornea? No.
I don't know. I can't quite say I'm an eye expert. But the good news is that he's a chance to play on Monday. Gary Brown is a chance to play with a calf injury. This would be his first game since that crazy Terrelgan game, Copes, that we went to. And Trey Kell looks likely as well. And if you're a Phoenix fan, when they've had the starting 5, they've been really good.
Really good.
Well, they've lost 4 games in a row, that streak.
Playing the Bullets might help, by the way. Playing the Bullets.
We can beat the Bullets. We can beat the Bullets.
You would much rather the Bullets walking into your gym right now than the Illawarra Hawks. The Illawarra Hawks have only won 2 games.
All right, there's still plenty more to come here on The Jump. Do not go anywhere. Lauren Jackson, the GOAT, is set to join us. Plus, who is the best dunker in the NBL? We are going to debate all of that and more next.
Just don't ask Gazy that. Don't ask Gazy that. He knows that.
I'm on fire, all eyes on me. I record for mine, pay attention, it's free. Gotta get what's mine, you know talk is cheap. And I'm on fire, so all eyes on me. All eyes on me, all eyes on me. Cause I'm on fire, cause I'm on fire. All eyes on me, all eyes on me. I work hard to get mine. I work hard for mine. Pay attention, it's free. Gotta get what's mine. You know talk is cheap.
We dug through the NBL archive and came up with some of the best dunks in NBL history. Unfortunately, couldn't find anything.
I couldn't
from
get one
YouTube.
dunk. I averaged a dunk a game.
That's tough.
500 games, I played 500.
That's true, but the U-matic tapes have all worn out, bro. They're far gone. They're just all crusty and stuff. No, he was a high flyer. That's disrespectful. And I blame you. That is disrespectful to my boy.
Blaming
The
me? I had
human
nothing
highlight
to do
reel
with it.
was all up above the rim.
He's genuinely dirty about
No,
this.
that's all right, though. It's all right.
Who was the best dunker, though, when you boys played?
Leon Trimmingham, that guy that was...
He was pretty tough. You know, but I go back even further. The Alabama Slammer, James Crawford, he had the quickest hops. Now, he wasn't always doing it off the bounce, so he'd dunk it really and get super high, so he was really good. And
athletic, and more athletic than anybody I've ever seen, because you know what? When we retired, 10 years later, we played in an exhibition game. Yeah. He was still dunking. I can't even touch the net. And I'm like, bro, what are you taking here?
But you know what the thing is, and we'll get into this again when we talk about the modern day dunkers. It's the little guys that can get up there. Remember?
So you're saying that I could dunk?
Well, maybe not you, but remember Kendrick Johnson from the Sydney Kings
that had
a little fella, only like 6 foot, and he came
smaller
through,
than Kane.
And maybe
pretty tall.
Kane's
maybe
not
a little
6 foot.
taller.
All right.
All right, well, let's talk about the best dunkers going around in the league right now. We're talking NBL. Kane, who you got?
Well, we just saw him play with the Sydney Kings, Xavier Cooks. And also, it's not just the style points, the power points, but it's the sheer volume.
Yeah.
I was sitting right behind that one on poor old Isaac Humphries, put him in the rim. And then after this, I think we'll get to the one where I was watching the broadcast and Gazy, his head just about exploded on the 7-3 Kai Sotto. So just for sheer volume of dunks, I've got Xavier Cooks right now.
Nice pick.
There he is, Sotto.
And then that, being able to hold that.
And a little windmill to finish it off as well. He's got the full package.
Yeah, he's
He's
nice.
a great athlete, isn't he? Copes, who have you got?
I like a couple of guys, but I'll pick Cleveland. I like Cleveland from Adelaide. Because Tony is Cleveland because he's got the long arms and he's high flying. When he gets it, he's putting it in the rim every time. Look at that. He can get up now. I like it.
Yeah, he's solid. I think he gets him out on the break. He's in transition. You don't see him necessarily in the half court break someone down and sort of... As you can see, all these are more transition.
All right, it's still nice though. See, you see, it's hard for me to talk to guys on the desk that's never been up there. He's up in the air. Look at this.
Oh, that's nice.
You understand what I mean? Yeah.
It's the theatrics too that go with it, which I
right.
really appreciate. Look at that.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
he
nice.
got a little
And the
something.
slow-mo. I love the slow-mo in that.
They need to be running more LU plays for him, I think, too.
Okay, so Cooks, Cleveland.
Rajan Tucker, who's, again, he's...
Were you trying to send him home? Weren't you trying to send him home?
No, I wasn't. I was one of the few. Look at this. Just the quick up bounce, the power dunking that you see in traffic. See, this is half-court stuff. This is more with...
He's strong, too. He's strong,
around
too.
the rim. Here we go. With the two hands up there and just throwing it down with real
This is nice. This is
anger.
nice.
Bang!
That was nice right there. That was very nice.
That to me, and I think if you had a dunk contest,
Right now.
he would win a dunk contest.
Yep.
As opposed, the other guy's excellent. They get up there, but just there's a bit of trickery, a bit of panache.
So
Yeah,
should
when
we
you
have-
see him in warm-ups, he's crazy with it. I
Should
love
we
it.
actually have a dunk contest in the NBL? I know in the NBA they do, and we kind of were talking about it last year, that it's gone a bit flat.
They're going a bit silly
should we
there.
have one?
I'm not a huge fan of it myself, but
That's because you can't dunk. Of course you should have a
The
dunk
kids would love
contest.
it.
You should have an all-star
me,
game.
punk. I was on there. YouTube me. I was throwing down.
You had one dunk his whole 49 years
No,
of
I
playing.
had more than one.
Wow.
Not many, though.
Okay, well, let's talk about someone who has been able to throw down a dunk or two, and he did so against the New Zealand Breakers last weekend. Kai Sotto had a career-best performance, 16 points, 5 rebounds, 2 blocks. It was a pretty impressive performance, in particular against a tough opponent. We know he has huge potential. Gazy, could he be off to the NBA at the end of this NBL season?
Well, I don't know about the end of this season, but if you look where he was last season to where he has now, the improvements that he is making, the play around the rim, the way in which he runs the floor, working in the on-balls. There you see it. The minutes have gone up a little bit, the points as such, and the rebounding is the big one. And the thing that's holding him back, anytime you're 7'3" or whatever he is, you're going to get a look in. And he's got the skill sets. The glaring weakness in his game right now is how he defends. The game is based around on-ball, pick and rolls. And when he's in there, either in a drop situation or he's switching on to smaller guys, or even just in an isolated one-on-one situation, his ability to slide his feet and keep people in front of him, that's the thing that I think is going to hold him back. Yeah. But if he can improve on that area, then that size, and with his passing, good basketball IQ, he's going to get a look in. Yep.
He's 20. He is so popular, Kane. Just talk to us about the buzz that there is in the Philippines.
Yeah, he's insanely popular. They are desperate for him to get there. They're furious at CJ Bruton when he doesn't play him 30 minutes a night. And CJ Bruton talks about it. I remember talking to them in pre-season in Darwin, and CJ said, yeah, look, I don't check social media too often because I don't think I'm too popular with the Kai Sotto fans. But you understand why. Certainly the Aussies can be parochial about their players as well, and they want to see him get there. As Gazy said, I think he's taken strides this year, and certainly he even acknowledges himself the defensive stuff is what needs to improve. But let's face it, when you're 7'3" and you're trying to stop all these little guys getting to the paint, it's challenging.
Copes, if you're advising or mentoring someone like Kai Sotto, what are you saying to him in order to make that next step? I
just think he needs more time. I mean, I was a bit worried at first when they started him in front of DJ. But now he's starting to play, he's starting to find his own feet. He's shooting the ball well, he's getting to the glass, he's blocking shots. So he has the tools. He just needs time.
And he's running the floor really well for a big guy. Yeah. He's good in the offensive and defensive transition. He gets back there, but then he's got to learn to sit down, slide his feet. And, I think for him that's only playing some small minutes now, know how to use fouls as well, so you don't get exposed as much. But right now, a lot of teams are picking on him.
Yep. Well, the 36ers fans absolutely love him, and they're loving the Adelaide 36ers because they've sold out their last 3 home games. It's absolutely buzzing up in Adelaide. There's still plenty more to come on The Jump. Don't go anywhere. Truth or Trash is coming up. But first, let's check out the NBL plays of the week. Thanks to Hungry Jacks, the burgers are better.
Barely played 2 minutes, and to shoot that in transition.
Oh! Bird takes them on and throws it down in traffic.
Didn't know Sam Ordenberg had those bunnies. He's got the length.
But Doyle gets his first 2 of the game as well.
Oh, boy. Oh, Magnay, this is what Tasmania's been missing.
McCall at half-time, got it! An incredible quarter from the Cairns Taipans.
An all NBL first and second team in those inside positions. And what a pass, what a finish.
That is a big-time finish.
Have you seen his acting in that commercial?
It's not perfect. It's not great, but this could be special. Yes! Xavier Cook's having a night out. Saves the best for last.
What's up, man? It's P5 checking in. Valley Sports Florida. We mic'd up. Let's rock. That's what you do. That's what you do. Hey, keep it aggressive. Everybody, keep it aggressive. Here we go. Get going. Knock him down. Get over there. Get over there.
You're watching The Jump thanks to Hungry Jacks. The burgers are better. The #1 draft pick in Paolo Banchero mic'd up there. Incredible access. Copes, how would you have been mic'd up during a game?
Probably not the smartest thing in the world to do, because when you get angry, you tend to let things go.
I reckon, we just need to mic him up during the ad break. And then
Actually, that is behind the scenes of The Jump. That is great viewing right there.
I'm just still not happy that I didn't get one dunk. One dunk. Not happy.
He spent the entire ad break going on about the fact that he didn't have a dunk.
And you know how many dunks I had in my career? Are you kidding me?
You know how many dunks I provided for you?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, this show is not about you two at all. We've got Truth or Trash coming your way in a second. But, Gazy, you wanted to talk about pace tonight because the NBL is the second fastest league in the world at the moment. Professor Kane Pittman, I want you to take me through what in the hell we are looking at right now.
Well, it's a little bit difficult. I was just telling the guys here I had to get some spectacles this week, and I'm struggling to see that. But all you need to worry about is the red bar in the top right corner and the orange one next to it. The red one, it might be pink, that is the NBA. The orange one is the NBL, and all those other markers there are the major leagues across the world. So essentially, the NBL is the closest major international league that's playing at the same pace as the NBA. And pace is basically the amount of possessions you have per 40 minutes. The NBA, obviously, it's per 48. You can scale that down. But essentially, yeah, again, how many possessions you're getting in a game. So the Sydney Kings are the #1 team in the league for pace. That doesn't necessarily guarantee you're going to win games, because the second-ranked team in the league for pace is Brisbane, and the two last teams in the league for pace, they're playing the slowest, are New Zealand and Tasmania, and we know they're having great seasons, Gazy. So to you, what do you take from this graph?
Well, I think the thing is that when you're only in a 10-team competition, you've got a concentration of talent that's not the same, but it replicates what you have in the NBL. A lot of those other leagues, they'll have more than 20 teams in the league and without as much talent in pace. So there is always context to it. But there's no doubt that the way in which the NBL plays is at a very high pace. And I think that the issue that you've got to surround is the last thing you said. Playing at pace does not always guarantee that you're going to have success. And it comes down to the type of personnel you have on your team, the coaching philosophies, the way in which you get the best out of your athletes. But usually, in a general world, stereotypically, the least amount of talent that you have relative to your competitors, the slower you should play. You want to shorten the game. You want to make it less possessions to give the opposition less of an opportunity. So if you're the Brisbane Bullets and you're playing in the Sydney Kings, don't allow them the opportunity to get 118 points by taking early shots and playing quick. That's generally the philosophy. Now, it doesn't always work that way, and, you know, sometimes a coach with all the good intention, you get halfway through a season, coach, and you go, geez, we wanted to play this way, but it's just not working, and it's the way it works out. So it's not, don't just look at that and say, well, because we're playing at the fastest pace outside of the NBA, that necessarily means a whole lot, other than that we're getting up and down and playing a very athletic style of play.
Generally, though, if you got athletes, you want to get out and go. You want to push that ball down the floor. But you got to be smart about it, too. Now, if you don't have athletes, you want to slow that thing down. But what if your players aren't as smart as you think? You know what I mean? You can't sit there and run plays for them and then expose yourself. So, yeah, there's ups and downs.
And it's a lot harder these days, too, with a 24-second shot clock. When we were playing, we were probably the fastest. My guess would be we were always the highest scoring team. Well, not always, but right up there in the top 2 or 3 every single season. So our pace was really quick. But we were playing in an era where there was a 30-second clock. So you had more time to take wind out of the ball. Plus, I mean, I guess to counter-argue that, we were playing in a 48-minute era. Yeah. So you did get naturally more possession. So that's a ratio. So that's all figured out in those ratios. But it's an interesting stat.
It is, but the fact that the NBL is so close in terms of pace to the NBA, does that mean, I guess, if you're an NBA scout, that you're more likely to look at Australia and the players that are coming out of that competition and that league to come across?
Maybe. I think that you know, with when you're making that transition, if you come from a league which has been highly structured, every time you're walking the ball up on the floor, you're going through the X's and O's, it does take a little bit of an adjustment. But, you know, and the other argument is as a competition, aesthetically, what would you prefer? It was interesting listening to Luka Doncic 2 days ago. They asked him, do you watch many NBA games? He goes, no, I don't. I prefer to watch the EuroLeague, which the EuroLeague was a stone-cold mud league. Yeah. It was the slowest pace league. So beauty's in the eye of the beholder,
right.
And how in which you like the aesthetic of the game comes into decision-making as well.
All right, it is time now for Truth or Trash. And Gazy, you are up first, my man. Truth or trash?
Right.
Startled him.
Oh, no.
Josh Giddey has found his shot.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. You look at the numbers tell the story. This season, he was averaging... last season, I should say, he was in the 20s in the three-point percentages. This season, he's up to 35%. In the last 7 games, outside of today's game, shooting 45%. And it shows tremendous growth. You've seen what he did last year, shooting in the 20s, I think it was. He's worked at his game. He's developing the skill.
He looks comfortable. He looks
the shot looks better, looks more fluid. The tempo of his shots picked
Confident.
up. And of course, when you start to knock down a few, that it makes a difference. Last year there was a little pause when he gets to the shot pocket. Now we're getting technical here. Now it's flowing, it's going on. So he's only got to get better.
Have you given him any pointers at all, or I know you.
Over the years I have, but I take no credit for it because he's just a beautiful, beautiful man and a beautiful player. And triple-double today too, by the way.
Yes,
absolutely.
very
How did
nice.
they lose that game?
Oh, that was crazy,
My
that last shot. Anyway,
goodness.
let's not talk about
That's
Miami.
another thing. Hey, now, Kane.
Yes.
Truth or trash? This is the craziest 11 seconds of the year. Have a look.
Roll the
The
tape.
Atlanta
Here we go.
Hawks. Here it is.
All right,
Look at
throw
the
down.
score. Look at the score and the time. Look at the score. There we go. And there's one more. Hang on, we're not done yet. Here we go. Now, this is what happens when you play too quickly and your pace of play is not working. Quick shot.
Why?
So now we're going down here and then
What the?
just a...
Yeah! How nice was that?
So here's the problem I've got with this. You saw that last full court shot. I was going to say half court. That was a
Don't
full
let the
court shot.
truth get in the way of a good story, Kane.
But here is what I'm going to say. That's trash. That we'll have crazier 11 seconds. That was pretty entertaining stuff. But here's the question I've got for you. So you saw that, the full court shot, and he could have got that off. He had a second, and what did he do? He took a couple little steps there. He was worried about the three-point percentage. What do you think about that? Let it fly.
Well, you reckon across 82 regular season games, you've got the licence to throw a few up and eventually the stats will work out. But I know for a fact, this is a fact, a lot of players don't want to take that last second shot because they're worried about their statistical numbers.
So that's the only downside to that. Copes.
Yes.
All right. Has the sun set on CP3 and the Phoenix Suns? Truth or trash?
Oh, that is truth. I think they had their turn. The last couple of years, they made the finals, and they've looked quite well. CP3 got hurt both years, and they lost their way. Now, he's been hurt again. CP3's what, 35, 36,
No, he's
37?
older than that.
A little bit older now.
38, isn't he?
They're having fight. Some of the Ayton is fighting with the head coach.
Yep.
These guys, there's no Booker.
Was injured today, didn't play.
Injured, so I really think.
They won today, though.
They did win today, luckily, but I think the Suns are done. I really think.
Haven't they lost 10 out of their last
So
12?
they've lost two. They've won 2 out of the last 11 games, Daisy.
And don't forget this. They were up 2-0 in the 2021 NBA Finals, and they did not take their opportunity. Though clearly that'll be one that they'll regret still.
All right, now, Nat.
Yes.
Truth or trash? KD's injury will bring the Nets to their knees.
Here we go.
So when I heard about the injury, I was probably leaning towards truth, but I've had some time to reflect, and I want to be positive. So trash. I'm calling trash on that. I know that the Nets are so reliant on KD and the latest surge and the resurgence that they've had. I mean, he's been such an integral part of that in terms of shot making, his leadership on the court. But their roster is pretty healthy outside of KD. And I know he's going to miss, what they're saying, maybe 2 to 4 weeks, maybe a month. It's not going to be as bad as the 6 weeks that he missed last season with that medial ligament strain. If Ben Simmons steps up, you got TJ Warren, you got Yude Watanabe playing really well.
Kyrie
Kyrie, look, I think it's not as bad as we think, and I am hoping that they're not going to just completely drop away. So trash on that.
I agree with you. Yeah, good.
Okay, all right, Gazy, your turn. Speaking of Yuta Watanabe, truth or trash, Watanabe is the best value in the NBA.
Well, you look at his career and he's been just a bits and pieces player and not getting a lot of time. I think before this season, 50 games, it might have been the most he played, and then a lot of that was coming in junk time. But what he has done, he's found the perfect home for his skill sets. Some players can't play on every team, but when you find the right team that mix your skill sets, things can just fall together. And he's shooting the ball at 51%, averaging 8
From the three?
From the three.
51% from the land of plenty.
Give
Coach.
him another contract,
But
quick.
if you look at all these shots that he's taking, he very rarely takes a bad three, and he's always open. That's what happens when you're surrounded by Kyrie and
Ben
Kevin
Simmons,
Durant.
pass that
You've
ball.
got a good passer in Ben Simmons. You've got Seth Curry that can light it up as well. Patty Mills comes off the bench. Need to get more time for Patty, by the way. But when you've got all those other players that can create, opens things up, and he's probably not high on the priority list of the scouting, so he finds himself a little bit more open.
I like him.
And he's knocking it down.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
him.
we'll see if anything changes without the significant gravity of Kevin Durant over the next month. It may change.
Hater over here.
I've got a truth or trash, and this is for everyone. I want everyone's opinion because this caught my eye the other day. Jordan Clarkson needs to put the jutes down and not get involved in any sort of altercations. Can look Mr. Tough Guy with his tats and all this, but have a look at this. There's a little largy bar there. Now, hang on.
He's trying to slow it down.
Look at him. Put the dukes up. Get the dukes up. Get the dukes.
As if he's ever going to deck someone.
Man, come on,
Seriously.
Jordan.
But hang on. I mean,
It's not the first time either. Look at this. That was Desmond Bain.
Give him the benefit of the doubt there. He's probably going.
No.
But he wanted to take on the whole Grizzlies team.
Benefit of the doubt.
He thought the ball was coming.
Now we know. We all thought that Utah were just tanking because of.
Wembanyama.
Thank you. I'm still not yet comfortable.
That's okay.
It took me
You'll get there.
to get Giannis up the So I'm just working on the Wembanyama.
Yeah, Wembanyama.
Say
it real quick.
Wembanyama, and you will not forget his name because he's going to be a superstar. But no, Clarkson's just showing a little bit of agitation there.
But Joey, listen to me, man. Any guy that wears black nail polish.
But honestly, if someone coming at you like
knocked down.
black,
he's got nail polish. He's nail polish.
nothing wrong with that.
Black nail polish.
For a man.
Why not?
Somebody knock him out.
I've never been in a fight in my life, Cope, but I'm not starting a fight like this.
Please don't, Joey, because you might get knocked out too.
He's got fine nails, and by the way, you get a weekly manicure, so you are not one to talk. Stay with us on The Jump. Please do not go anywhere, because right after this, the GOAT, Lauren Jackson, is going to join us right here on The Jump.
As we see Lauren Jackson launching one from deep!
Welcome back, LJ. Her 600th point in World Cup history, third all time.
Guess who's back? Back again.
Jackson's wide open. Whooshka! The open three. Oh, yeah!
She's been doing it her whole career. She might have retired 7 years ago, but she's never lost her ability to shoot the long ball.
Jackson going to work against Achamwa, and that is vintage Lauren Jackson, folks. Talbot now just throws it up, and Lauren Jackson
on an absolute post clinic down here, takes the hit, finishes the layup. She's definitely put on an MVP performance as she hits this free throw and it puts her on 30 points. Let's give her a round of applause.
Well, a standing ovation here, over 9,000 fans. And you see the hug. Lauren Jackson is checking out and oh so serious still. 30 points here today in the bronze medal game. And what a career by Lauren Jackson, the Australian GOAT.
She certainly is the GOAT. What an incredible athlete. And Gazy, what an incredible comeback story.
It's an incredible, amazing story, and one when you think of Australia and incredible sporting achievements in a variety of sports, this to me is one of the all-time greats. The journey that she's been on, and to come back and have such an elite performance on the biggest stage, it was fantastic. It was a privilege and honour for me to actually be in the building to witness that 30-point outing to win a World Cup medal for Australia was something special.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal performance. And of course, she is playing in the WNBL as well for the Southside Flyers, who are set to create history when they take on the Sydney Flames on Saturday, February 4 at John Cain Arena. It is going to be the first ever WNBL game at the venue, which is so very exciting. And Lauren Jackson joins us now on The Jump. Lauren, welcome to you.
Hey, how you going?
We are going very well. How about the team and yourself and the excitement around, I guess, the fact that this is a massive thing, not just for women's basketball in this country, but for women's sport in Australia. What does it mean to you guys to be able to play at John Cain Arena?
Yeah, look, I think it's really exciting. I think it's just more a celebration of where the game's at the moment. I think off the back of the World Cup, there's just a lot of support for the women's game. And, we've seen crowds rising across the WNBL, which has been awesome. And, it's just going to be a celebration of the sport and where we're going. So it's really exciting.
And Loz, it's been an incredible 12 months for yourself coming back, and we saw highlights of what you did at the World Cup. I guess one of the motivations for what you're doing is that little munchkin over your right shoulder as well. Does he and your two boys, do they really appreciate what you've been able to do? Are they starting to sink in for them, albeit they're still pretty young?
Yeah, look, I think Harry, I think he's loving seeing me play again. I think Lenny's probably a little bit too young to understand what's going on. I think he's probably taken it a little bit harder than what Harry has, especially being away and everything. But Harry loves it. I mean, he's, so into the basketball, and the motivation, is for them to be around the team. And, I remember being a kid myself and following my parents around. I think it's just such a special gift to give kids, being in a team environment and everything. So this is Harry, everyone.
Hello, Harry.
Hey, Harry, what do you think of your mum playing basketball? She go all right?
Yeah.
Do you play?
Yeah.
Are you any
He's
good?
an Aussie hooper. Aussie hoops, yeah. He reckons he's pretty good.
Oh, he's going to be great.
He's never going to beat me.
And I don't doubt that either, Loz. I reckon your competitive spirit might make it tough for the little man. But, hey, Loz, when you think back on that moment and what you were able to do at the World Cup, did it meet your expectations? Was it as you thought it would have been?
Yeah, look, it was so special. The journey just getting to the World Cup was pretty epic, but look, regardless of that last game, it was a really special time. And like even just getting the minutes that I got and playing in the team and being a part of that team was just so special. And I've talked about the journey and how incredible it was to get there and how special it was, but it really has been one of the greatest times of my life, and to be able to do it in front of my kids and on home soil, not having to travel and everything, it's been amazing.
I mean, you've won WNBA championships, MVPs, you've been to 4 Olympics. Where does the last 12 months or so, I guess, sit or rank for you, given that you do get to share it with your kids this time around?
Oh, look, it's right up there. I mean, it would have to be the best time of my life. I mean, really, I never thought I'd get the opportunity to play basketball in front of my kids, especially at that level. And to do it and have that perspective, and I guess the person that I am today as opposed to the person that I was 10 years ago, it's just been the most, incredible time of my life. I mean, there's been ups and downs, like, don't get me wrong, but it's been just amazing to be able to share this with them and with Australia. So.
And Loz, you're playing with the Flyers, so you're doing some really good stuff in the WNBL, which you've done throughout your entire career, of course. But when you think of 12 months away or a little bit more than 12 months and another Olympic opportunity, I know yourself that you've sort of said, no, that's not going to happen. But I start to think, well, why not? The way you play, your experience goes beyond just the points and the baskets. Is it something, has the officialdom come to you and said, hey, Loz, just keep going a little bit longer?
Oh, look, there's definitely, people are in my ear. There's no doubt about it. But I think, it's going to come down to my body. And I think as well, at the moment, I'm starting to feel like a basketball player again. I mean, it's funny to say it, but like at the Worlds, I still didn't feel like I had my touch and my timing, and it was still sort of all coming to me. And I really feel like it's actually started to click, in the last couple of months. And so it's, it's going to be interesting to see where this season finishes up and what I do from here. But I'm not going to commit to anything at all because I just don't know how long it can go. And also too, the toll that it's taking on the kids and me being away and stuff, it's a lot on them. So.
Physically, though, how is the body feeling? I mean, do you spend a lot more time recovery these days rather than training and you just get up for games? Like, how does that all work for you and how are you feeling?
Oh, look, I've had a couple of little issues along the way. But, it's just about managing my body. And to be honest, like I've probably never been stronger. So surprisingly, my knees are really good. The most issues that I've had have been in my feet, and it kind of is hard, having to deal with those, but it's just the fact that I am getting older. I'm pretty full of arthritis and yes, I've just got to get in those ice baths and really love them and lap them up.
Hey, Loz, what do you make of the WNBL and women's basketball in a more broader sense? Under a lot of competition now, whether it's soccer, whether it's the AFL, the cricket. We're going through a great period where female athletes are getting opportunities that they've never had in the past. Is the basketball keeping pace?
Yeah, well, look, I think, 5 years ago, I would have said, we were struggling a little bit and we were falling behind, but I really believe that in the last sort of 12 months or so, 12, 24 months, we've, started getting that visibility up again. We've got partners on board. The league is thriving. The product has never been an issue. We've always had great athletes, like world-class talent. Now it's more about visibility and having people watching the game. And I think off the back of the World Cup, that's the greatest platform we could have had right here in Australia to really push the sport. So I feel like, we are keeping up, and I feel like Basketball Australia is doing great work in that space at the moment, and I'm loving being a part of it.
Well, the Flyers' attendance has been going through the roof since you arrived, and we've seen the pictures, we've seen the vision of like people snaked around the stadiums waiting to get a photo with you or an autograph. How has that all sat with you, and how have you enjoyed that whole experience with the Flyers so far?
I've had the time of my life at the Flyers. I mean, they're a great organisation. They care a lot about their athletes. And, obviously having Jerry Ryan leading that, but Cheryl Chambers as a coach, it's a great organisation to be a part of. So I've thoroughly enjoyed my time. And for me, signing autographs is the least I can do. I just feel like I've been given another opportunity to play this sport that I love. And I'm just, relishing in it every minute. And the fact that we are getting so many fans come out and support us, and of course, I want to try and do whatever I can for people while I'm still out there playing.
Hey, look, and you've played in every nook and cranny in this world. You've been in at the greatest leagues, and some of them are still with us, some of them are not there, and you've seen a whole variety of things. Without a WNBL, how does it sit right now? Yes, the product's really good, but sometimes it's a little hard to compare. You've been and played in every one of them. How do you compare it?
I think it's the night in, night out talent. And I think, across the league, you saw sort of the bottom team in the league beat one of the top teams tonight, which was a pretty epic game. We've got a lot of young talent, and hoping that we can keep more and more young Australian talent in the country and not have everyone going offshore to college. I mean, it's a great option, don't get me wrong, but it'd be great to have the girls coming through our pathways into the WNBL. But look, I think, across the board, the standard is great, and we're getting great athletes out here from overseas. So, it's the WNBA obviously is the pinnacle. There's no doubt, but I think that the WNBL could definitely compete with any of the other leagues in the world. And that, I truly believe in that.
Last week, we saw one of your teammates in her 251st WNBL game just absolutely torch the Boomers, the reigning premiers or the champions. 41 points. I mean, she just keeps getting better and better with age, doesn't she? How was that watching for you?
Oh, God, it was incredible just playing with her, Being on the court, it was just like, pass Sarah the ball. Like, there's no reason why that ball shouldn't be in her hands every time down the court, because, I mean, she went 15 from 17 from the field. To get 40 points, people have to take, 30 shots a lot of the time. And she, the efficiency at which she shot at, like you said, Sarah is definitely getting better and better. And I think coming off the back of the World Cup, it was hard for, a month or two there, just trying to get back into the swing of things and stuff. But she's really started to find her form, and it's very exciting for our team, let me tell you. And she's, and she's a great person too. Like, what a beautiful human. You couldn't have been anyone better for it to happen to.
And she's finding her form, but so are the Flyers, because you've won your last 5 games as well. You knocked off the Spirit and the Boomers. How do you feel the team's going so far? How have you assessed it?
Look, I think, we're on track. We started off a bit rocky. We had a few injuries, bit of sickness. And then, of course, chemistry is such an important thing. And none of us, well, the girls that were coming into the team hadn't played with, the Southside Flyers of old. So, there was some chemistry issues, and then learning to play with each other and stuff like that. And then defensively as well, like understanding how each of us guard people and how that was going to work in a team environment. And we I think we've sort of come through that, and we're, you know, on the way up. But, you know, in saying that, there's some great teams in this league, and we've just got to keep getting better and focus on us. And I think that if we keep with that mindset of just focusing on our game, our defense, our strengths, our weaknesses, I think that we're in a good position.
Well, you've got Perth on Friday night, and then we can't wait, of course, for Feb 4 against the Sydney Flames. John Cain Arena tickets went on sale at midday today. Ticketek, make sure you get out there and get your tickets.
$20 a ticket, and that cheap as chips too.
So
I mean,
cheap.
it's going to see this top quality of basketball, very, very affordable. So make sure if you want a great experience, get out there and get your tickets and see the goat running around.
Are we going to pack out
You're
at the
the goat,
stadium?
Rui.
God, I love you.
2 goats here, right here, 9,000 fans. Let's get there for John Cain Arena. Lauren, thank you so much for joining us on the jump. And Harry, give us a wave, Harry.
There he is.
Hey.
Good man, Harry.
He'll be at John Cain
Now
Arena.
get out and work on that jump shot. Go on.
Thanks, Lauren. A pleasure talking to you.
That's good.
Catches.
Oh, Gazy, do you
Yeah.
think she should play on?
Absolutely, she should. It was one of them. Like I said, I'm still in awe of what she's been able to do. She's just a superstar. I love her dearly, and the great things that she's done for our sport, she continues to do them. So hopefully, everyone, just even for Lauren's sake, just get out there to that John Cain Arena and pack that joint out. It's going to be fantastic.
All right, we'll be back right after this break. Victor Wembanyama is at it again. We'll show you why. He's got everyone talking. That's next on The Jump.
They're not calling timeout. 10 seconds left. Gotta go. Tremont Waters.
Sensation and top NBA draft prospect.
No.
Good rehearsal. Don't let that was good. Now go great.
Victor Wembanyama, he is a teen sensation. We absolutely love him on The Jump. Probably going to go #1 in the NBA draft, let's be honest.
Not probably.
Oh, he's #1.
Absolutely. Everyone is
100%.
tanking to get him. That was a game-winning dunk against his former side too, which was very nice indeed. 3.5 seconds left on the clock. Happy days.
No, his status continues to grow. Everyone loves him right now, and everyone's tanking to try and get him. You can see why. And it's not just the size, but it's also the way in
What's
which
his
he can shoot.
nickname?
I'm not sure. Not sure.
Somebody called him the Truth or something?
The Truth.
I don't know. I heard something.
I will say, I will say, it was pretty nice of Vic to just get up on his little tippy toes there to throw that one down to win the game. Impressive stuff.
At 7'4", yes, you are right. Now, we should mention too, Nick Kyrgios, there is talk that he might be joining the ownership group that looks after, was it the Phoenix?
Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, that's
Could you
right.
imagine that?
Well,
If
I
things
like
aren't
it.
Going, things aren't going well, Nick might come on the floor and say, hey.
Which team would you two, if you had the opportunity, some spare cash line, which you probably both do have, which team would you invest in?
Sydney Kings.
yeah, Sydney's right there. Oh, Melbourne.
What about
Sydney or
Melbourne?
Main city. Melbourne United or Phoenix. Phoenix is a good one. They're on
I'm
the
not a
rise.
financial expert.
I'm going after winners.
It better
I might
Not a
go-
financial expert, but I'll tell you what, if you want to buy low, maybe the Bullets might be where you want to jump in.
Oh, let's not finish.
They
that
got to
one.
give me some money to join that group.
Look, we hope the Bullets can turn it around
They will.
for whatever
Come on,
is
Bullets.
left
They
in the
will.
last 4 rounds of the NBL season. Thank you so much for joining us on The Jump. Thank you, lads. Enjoy the rest of your
Well done,
week.
Nat.
Come on, Bullets,
See you
pick it
next
up,
week.
Bullets.
Come on, Bullets.
Let's go,
Brisbane,
Bullets.
Brisbane,
Let's go. Let's go.